We are told the Spartans feared nothing. We are told their shields were unbreakable and their hearts were forged in the fires of the Agoge. But history has a way of burying the things that made even the bravest men scream. Tonight, we go to the jagged peaks of Mount Tigatos, to a night where the hunters became the prey. The wind wasn't just blowing, it was screaming. Callias had been trained to ignore the cold, but tonight the air felt wrong. He and his younger cousin, Brasidas, were in their third week of the Crypteia, the blood-soaked rite of passage where young Spartans lived like wolves in the wild. They were hardened to hunger, they were accustomed to the sight of blood, but the darkness settling over the ravine wasn't just night, it was a weight. It was a physical presence that seemed to swallow the light of their dying fire. Brasidas sat across from him, his bronze blade resting on his knees. His eyes weren't scanning the perimeter, they were locked on the tree line, wide and unblinking. The silence between the howling gusts was absolute. No crickets, no rustling of the brush, just a suffocating, dead stillness that made the hair on Callias's neck stand like needles. Then it happened. A whistle. A sharp, rhythmic trill. It was their secret tactical signal, the one they used to coordinate a kill. But Callias hadn't made the sound, and Brasidas was sitting right in front of him, his face draining of color until he looked like a marble statue of a dead man. The whistle came again, closer. It came from the heart of the black pines, just feet from their camp. Callias gripped his spear, his palms slick with a sweat he'd never felt in battle. A Spartan is taught never to yield to fear, but something ancient was clawing at his chest. Before Callias could speak, Brasidas stood. He wanted to prove his courage. He wanted to kill the fear. With a sharp nod, he drew his short sword and melted into the fog of the trees. Minutes felt like hours. The wind died, the world went silent, and then a sound that would haunt Callias's dreams for the rest of his short life. A sickening, wet crunch echoed from the dark. Callias! The voice came from the mist. It was Brasidas's voice, but it was wrong. It was flat. It was hollow. It sounded like two dry stones grinding together in a deep well. Callias, come see what I have caught. Callias raised his heavy oak shield, his heart hammering against his ribs. He knew with a freezing, absolute certainty that whatever was standing in those trees was no longer his cousin. What did Callias find waiting in the blood-stained fog, and what kind of monster mimics the voice of a Spartan? Like this video and subscribe for part 2 to find out what happened next on the mountain.